Hey guys, it's Charlie. It's November 2nd, Tuesday, election night 2010. And just like corporate media has been telling us for months now, the Republicans are going to sweep in and take over majority of the House of Representatives, and more than likely the Democrats will hold on to the Senate. It should not be a surprise. What is surprising to me is that the media that is owned and controlled by 5 or 6 corporations, they're feeding like supplements to cattle information, and their information is engineered and designed to affect an agenda, to affect the change that they want to see happen. Don't kid yourselves for 1 second. If Obama wouldn't have been elected and McCain would have been, would we have still seen stimulus? Absolutely. Would we have still seen the bailout of GM and Chrysler? Absolutely. AIG, the too big to fails, they would have all had the more guarantees that they received under Obama. They would have had the exact same ones and more under McCain. So there's absolutely no difference on what party gets in to office. This go around, we're going to see what's called Tea Party candidates. And, a lot of you are like me. You were involved in the first Tea Parties. And there's very, very little Tea Party remnant left, at least the original grassroots feeling of the Tea Party and the grassroots demands of the Tea Party left in these so-called Tea Party candidates now. They're nothing more than co-opted Republicans at this point in time. There might be 1 or 2 sprinkled out throughout the Senate or throughout the House of Representatives, or even governors for that matter, but not enough to affect any kind of real change in this country. We are going to get absolutely more of the same. And by that I mean we had 2 years of intensive, radical legislation being passed, more than in the history of this nation. We've had, trillions of dollars being spent in the name of saving this economy. None of it's worked because none of it was designed to work. It was designed to enrich a very select few, the same few who got us here. Now what's going to happen is we're going to have a mandate, quote unquote, by the American people to impose self-austerity in this country. So I have a word of warning. I have a word of warning to the people who listen to me who are on, tier 2 through 4 unemployment benefits. Some of the 44 million on food stamps, or the people who are sitting in their homes facing foreclosure. It's about to become a lot harder in this country to get help from your government. Now, I know a lot of people don't want to hear that we need help from our government, but when you look at the backdrop of trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars being spent in order to bail out the too big to fails, help is exactly what our citizens deserve. Help is exactly what we need, and the help that we need is true reform in this government. Now, I talked to a friend of mine today, one of the listeners from YouTube, and I tried to draw an analogy, what's happened over the last several years, to the movie Perfect Storm. Now, in that movie, there was a scene where Mark Wahlberg and Cooney were in the wheelhouse of their ship. They looked like they were going to make it through the storm. You saw the sun coming out through the clouds. And then all of a sudden, the clouds closed in and they fell off one wave and then climbed the giant wave that flipped the ship and killed everybody on board. It feels to me that's where we are in this country. We went through that moment, that one brief moment where it looked like there was some light at the end of the tunnel. And at that time, it was Madoff going to prison, one of the criminals on Wall Street going to prison. And then we saw 200 plus of our congressmen stepping forward, supporting Ron Paul's bill to audit the Federal Reserve. Now, that was the sun peeking through the clouds. But then we saw special interest money. We saw globalist bankers stepping in and hiring ad firms to get that idea squashed. And now we have a few months down the road, and we're back in the exact same position we were before the financial collapse. But this time, just like when Marky Mark and Cooney went off that wave and went up to the bigger wave, we're about to hit that bigger wave. This one's going to sink the ship. And in this case, the ship is the country. There is no hope coming in this tsunami election. There's only more pain, and there's only more destitution for the people who need help the most. That's all I got.